Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by the Tapoco Lodge. If you want to book your stay in a room, suite, or cabin, you can do it right now. And if you want to dine at the Tapoco Tavern, you can do that as well. Seating inside or outside by the beautiful rushing river is at 50%, so call ahead, get a reservation. But do me a favor and check out the Tapoco Lodge. Tapoco.com will tell you more about it, and their Facebook page will tell you more about it as well. It's a great place, historic lodge, and they have put so much love and work into just turning it into a show place. It's got grounds that go on forever with all kinds of outdoor activities. Great place to go, the Tapoco Lodge. All right, here is your SEC recruiting update for the week. If we can get there, we go. Tennessee still way ahead at number one. What you got there? You got the school, for those that can't read school. Beside that, you've got their current total points according to 247sports.com. So Tennessee still at 259.7. Florida has jumped back ahead of LSU. You see change, so they got 13 extra points this week. Georgia got 32 points. Auburn 17. Alabama has come to life. Total commits are there to the right. And then on the far right, that's where teams have wound up in their 3-year average of these last 3 years on signing day. So as you can see, Tennessee already ahead average-wise of where they've been in total points the last 3 years. But if you're looking about moving forward, if Tennessee wants to finish in first place in the SEC, the last 3 years, that's meant 318 points. 303 for second place. So right now, if Tennessee just stopped, and they're at 24 commits, if they just stopped right now, they'd wind up on average about 6th in the SEC. Josh Ward, you cover recruiting on your podcast and for WNML. Your thoughts on where Tennessee stands this week, what went on this past week in terms of social media, et cetera?
Yeah, it's been a really weird time over the last few months in general, and that applies to recruiting as well. Considering around the nation there are roughly twice as many commitments right now as you had a year ago, or if you combine the last 2 years, they don't match where we are now. So you're going to see a lot of change. But where Tennessee sits right now is it has a lot of talent that has come on board in the last month that's gotten a lot of attention on Tennessee. Now, you're not going to find much room in the class. That's why I would also say there will be a lot of change because, John, as you're pointing out, if Tennessee if it just held on to everybody that it has and let's say added one more player to finish with 25, the class would be a disappointment, I think, to Tennessee's coaches. So they're going to move some guys out. If Tennessee wants to be competitive with Alabama, Georgia, LSU, the schools that are going to have the best classes in the SEC and do every year, Tennessee has more work to do. But the last month, they've taken a really good jump with guys like Terrence Lewis, Dylan Brooks, Cody Brown, and the others that have committed.
There were some guys who stirred up Twitter this week with some comments. Tell folks about that.
Yeah, Joey Nixon, he's one of the more highly touted commitments recently, a 4-star wide receiver, tweeted out about, hey, if we've committed, don't stop recruiting us. Some took that as, hey, other schools still contact me. Others said, no, that's him saying to Tennessee, don't stop recruiting me. Later that night, he said, I'm still 100% committed. And then Terrence Lewis on Twitter said, what's your dream school? Mine's Oregon. I saw other recruits on there replying. Deshaun Rucker said Florida, I think. It's social media. I wouldn't read anything into that, but it adds to just the weird time, and that's how things are in recruiting, especially for 2021. I think 2021 is going to be a mad year because if we've seen a spike in commitments, we're just naturally going to see a spike in decommitments.
Well, and we still don't even know, is there going to be an early signing period? My guess is no. And is signing day going to be that first Wednesday in February as usual, or do they move that at all? Who knows? There's a lot of questions this year that we don't have answers to.
Well, yeah, something that's interesting, Max Olson with The Athletic, he spoke to recruiting coordinators of different schools around the country. They have differing opinions on how this year is going to go. The coaches who are doing the recruiting have different opinions on how you should recruit right now. Should you take commitments? Should you hold off? And when will these players be signing? They don't know.
The Athletic, by the way, over the weekend, we keep plugging The Athletic. I like The Athletic. It's a good deal, good value. One of your writers did a piece on the top 5 hottest recruiting schools in the country right now. Number 1 on the list, yeah. University of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. David, let me ask you very quickly. We don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I don't know how much J.T. Daniels, the transfer from USC, really looked at Tennessee. Everyone drew the connection. Well, T. Martin's here now. He was there at USC. So this guy, this former 5-star quarterback is going to transfer to Tennessee. He didn't. Instead, he chose Georgia, which is interesting because they've got another transfer quarterback coming in from Wake Forest. They also have some highly recruited guys who've signed. Is that a loss for Tennessee? I mean, you don't want to pass on a 5-star, but you've got a full quarterback room. Where are you on the JT Daniels going to Georgia instead of Tennessee?
I think two things. One, it's going to depend on where Tennessee's quarterback spot is, next year or 2 years ago. If Harrison Bailey sets the world on fire, if Brian Maurer does, no one's going to care about JT Daniels. If they're struggling, that name's going to come up again. And two, it's not so much that Tennessee didn't get him, but when you miss a guy and he goes to a division rival that you're trying to surpass, less than ideal.
That's the key. If he had gone to Notre Dame or any place else outside the SEC,
or even stayed at USC, yeah, that too.
Yeah, but to go to Florida or Georgia, where you're going to have to see him every year, that's going to be an issue. All right, very good. When we come back, one ESPN Talent Scout says the Volunteers have one first-round draft pick, one first-round level talent for next year's NFL draft. We'll tell you where he put Trey Smith. You know who it is. We'll tell you where he put him. Is that right? And then also, is there anybody else in this roster who could leap into that range? We'll discuss. Come on back on the Sports Source.